Errol Spence and Terence Crawford respond to Jaron Ennis calling them out. What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Cardinal Red. But let's talk about it. Alright, y'all. So, Errol Spence, Terence Crawford recently were in a press conference, and both guys gave a response to Jaron Boots Ennis calling them out for a welterweight title shot.
Yeah, nah, he's nice as hell, but I'm at the point of my career. The money's right. I'll fight anybody, so.
Listen, Jaron Boots Ennis is being praised as the next big thing. This guy knows how to put on a show. This guy has all the boxing abilities in the world, and Errol Spence and Terence Crawford are touted as the best welterweights in the world. Why not make that fight next?
I wasn't even gonna come to this bullshit today, to be honest. Mayweather Promotions. That's the undefeated hate motherfucker.
The record speaks for itself, and the bankroll do too. What was that? Nah, my fellas ain't ruffled. Sound like it.
The problem is, Errol Spence has recently stated that this will be his last fight at 147 pounds.
My last best to get at the welterweight division, so I can finally move up.
So if he does win, I highly doubt that he will give Boots a shot at the titles. Terence Crawford really hasn't said much. You know, I don't know what Terence Crawford would possibly do if he won the fight. I don't think anybody's really expecting that or not expecting for him to stick around either if he wins the fight.
15 with the triple beam, working the streets, the little soldier.
You know, but I think a lot of people are rooting for Crawford to win. A lot of people think he'll win. He's still the favorite in the fight, but, you know, Jaron Boots Ennis is a whole nother level. You know, Errol Spence and Terence Crawford are great fighters in their own right, but Jaron Boots Ennis is something special. You see it when he fights. You hear it when he talks. He carries himself like he is very humble and just loves to be here. And that's a great personality for a boxer to have, because most boxers are really, really arrogant. And, you know, most of these guys, they're not humble in any way. Just remember how Mike Tyson was when he was at the peak of his career. You know, a lot of these guys are like that. Gervonta Davis punches park attendants in the face.
Fuck these niggas, man! Fuck.
A lot of these guys are not very approachable, you know, and I say that jokingly. Some of these guys are really nice people, you know, and they're very humble guys, but a lot of boxers are very, very arrogant, and Jaron Boots Ennis doesn't come across that way at all. He just comes across as a fun-loving, likes to work on his craft and his skills to become the best version of himself that he possibly can, and he definitely seems like the type of guy who's humble because he has his father in his life, you know, and he doesn't he's not a loud talking guy. You know, a lot of boxers are loud talking and, you know, very smug and very cocky with the way they carry themselves. And Boots just doesn't come off like that. And he's really humble with the way he's been approaching Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, even though, you know, he's been number one in IBF for so long. It's almost laughable. He's never, like, came at Spence wrong, you know, cussing him out or, you know, calling him less of a boxer than he is. He's always been very respectable, very, very humble, and just wants his opportunity to fight one of these guys to prove himself.
You hand me them there turnip greens, boy.
What you said, bro?
Did I stutter? I said hand me the greens, boy.
You know, he's never even said that I'll demolish these guys or I'll take these guys apart. He's always said, I just want my shot, I want my opportunity to prove myself. You know, it's almost like a, hey, just give me a shot, win or lose type of thing. It's not more of a, I know I'm better than you and you owe me this because I proved this or I did that. Boots does not come across as that type of person at all. Boots is a very likable boxer.
That game bitch.
Now, what did Errol Spence have to say? Errol Spence didn't really say a lot, you know. He just basically said, hey, if the money's right, let's make the fight happen. But you can't say if the money's right now, let's make it happen. And a couple of weeks ago, you were saying this is going to be your last fight at 147 pounds, because that kind of makes you seem a little contradictory when it comes to Boots. Now, once again, Boots isn't being, you know, a hater towards Errol Spence in any way. He just wants his opportunity. I'm not saying that Errol Spence is ducking Boots in any way. Perhaps Errol Spence will give Boots a shot just because, you know, the fight is getting built up really quickly as a super fight. So if the money's right, why not? You know, if you move to 154 pounds, are you really going to fight Charlo? If you move to 160 pounds after beating Terence Crawford, is Canelo really going to fight you? You know, you got to ask yourself these questions.
Everybody ain't going to support you. Everybody ain't going to want to be around you. Everybody don't understand the value you bring to their life until you gone.
So if you decide to move up in weight and you end up fighting a bunch of bums, you would have dropped the titles for no reason. Now, there's a lot of risk involved in a Jaron Boots Ennis fight, you know, because if you lose the Boots, then what? Moving up would bring more money to Errol Spence, even fighting nobodies, but, you know, for those nobody fights, you know, but I think that if he moves up and can't get the big fights that he wants, you know, I think he's really going to regret that, because he was a undisputed champion. He would have been an undisputed champion. You could have remained there. You know, it's tough to make the weight, but is it worth taking the risk of moving up and not having any other fights to make? Let's say he does get the Canelo fight at 168. Who does he fight after Canelo with a big name, you know, like Canelo?
Hey, I need y'all to count it with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I'm gonna spread them on your pussy ass.
Is Canelo his last super fight? Because, you know, that's the biggest pile of money that he'll be able to get after Terence Crawford, other than fighting one of the Charlo brothers. You know, so a lot of question marks when it comes to Errol Spence and Jaron Ennis.
I don't believe in worrying. I believe in having fun. Negativity is evil. Visualizing the worst means you're going to make it happen. I only visualize the best. I only see me with a W, and I don't accept nothing until that visuality that I see comes to fruition.
What about Terence Crawford? Do I anticipate if Terence Crawford beats Errol Spence that he sticks around 147 to give Boots a shot? Listen, as much as I think Crawford is going to lose to Spence, I definitely think there's a higher probability that he sticks around 147 just a little bit longer than Errol Spence might, just because I think there are some fights that he can make and make a lot of money off of, and he'll be undisputed champion of the world again. So I think he's the type who would more than likely want to defend those championships at least one time before he lets them go. Now, I'm not saying Spence, you know, he's not the same type of guy, but there's a bag of money kind of waiting for Spence in a way. That's if Canelo accepts the fight. And, you know, will he hold on to the titles? There's still a possibility that he holds on to the titles and goes and fights Canelo, then comes back down. You know, that's always a possibility. But all bets are on he's going to drop the titles if he wins this fight. If he does that, I think it's going to come back to bite Errol Spence, to be honest with you. I don't think, you know, moving up in weight is the smartest thing to do. I know the money's better. There's Canelo out there. There's the Charlos out there. But, you know, is that the smartest move to make when you have all these trinkets that you've collected over the years? And, you know, there's still big fights to be made, you know, with Ennis, with Vergil Ortiz, even with Keith Thurman. You know, there's still 3 bags of money you can get at 147 and the rematch with Terence Crawford. Now, perhaps the rematch is why he's saying that he'll most likely leave the division after this, because if he beats Terence Crawford, there's more than likely going to be one more fight attached to this fight. So, you know, I guess he feels like it's a 2-fight deal. I'm going to have 2 more 147 fights, and that's enough. You know, this weight is draining my body, and I'll move on.
Well, I know you done tried them strawberry biscuit from Popeye. Fuck Popeye. Ain't them strawberry biscuits. I ain't tried a motherfucking thing from Popeye. Y'all can create everything but some good motherfucking customer service.
So y'all let me know what y'all think about all that down in the comment section below. Is Errol Spence or Terence Crawford going to actually fight Boots Ennis before they leave 147? Or is Boots going to get left in the background having to collect titles for himself? Hit that like button for me. Sure. Subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms, that Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or Twitter. But you're more than likely to get a response on the tube, so holler at me over there. If you want to collabo, feature a product or your channel on my channel, then hit my Gmail, because it is a flock of cards at Gmail. Yeah. And we are
niggas act hard, tryna make their lifestyle tougher. Go and get their head busted like a lifestyle rubber. And you might sound tougher if you was a little more like me. Ain't no telling where your whore might be on them Bill streets. Them niggas don't fuck around. Have your ass in the wheelchair, buckle down. Paralyzed from the belly button down. Riding through the park, showing off your hover round. Shit, young niggas don't play. Nigga like me come through with a K. Young Keys go bar for bar. The reason your favorite rappers in the armored car. I'm trying to conquer the ville and move on. Fuck stepping, I got my ass kicking shoes on. After that, I'm getting a new pair. Y'all remind me of a nigga that do her. Chances are you're probably gay. Keys play too much is what you probably say. But hey, I just gotta be Mike, man. I'm grimy as the alleys at night, man. I'm about to get it poppin' like raggedy bike chains. Oh, let me catch my breath. You're about to catch your death from Young Keys, the freestyle emperor, pimping your chicken, bruh. Then I'm slipping dick in her. This is for my cousin Wayne. Back in '98, some buster slayed him. July 25, 1981. Alright, mom's had her tubes tied. I survived. Must have been a sign, still couldn't be denied, motherfucker. Young Keys come through, spotless, chicks topless. Watch how I rock this. Wait a minute, hold up. Wait a minute, hold up. Wait a minute, and I'm back in this bitch. I left this hoe alone, now I'm back with this bitch. She heard that I be rapping and shit. Spectacular spit. I'm about to get the album cracking. It's about to happen. Plus I got an ounce of action. Niggas get bounced for taxing. Oh, I better get 4 for my 2 and my O. 4 blunts for dubs. Whole stunt for us. We bust the club looking clean in the regal. Flowing outside like weed is legal. And plus I show love when I see my people. Like yeah, you can hit that. Just give me my shit back. And then I kick back and smoke a big black. Them chicks want the big black.